Looking back now, I always tell people my career started when I was a lifeguard, 16, 17 years of age, working in my hometown. Then I was a fairly big guy. When I was 17, I started doing security in the nightclub in town. I was in a class where a lot of people like to fight on the weekends, so the local nightclub decided if we have one of them on our side, that might help. And it was good money for a near 17-year-old. So I did that at home. I went to Limerick to college, and during the first rag week, which is a week of events, we bought tickets for everything. We were at a particular gig. There were too many people in there. Everyone started getting hurt, and we just, me and a few of my friends started helping people up off the ground and that kind of thing. And then the team that were running security for that event called us in afterwards and asked would we work with them. And so I started working for that team. They were interesting. They're a team of students who work security and safety at the student gigs. So I started working with them, and after about 6 months I was running that team. We developed it over a few years. I'm nearly 20 years gone now. It's still there. We go back, we help them train. So that was the security side. Then around that time, big festivals and concerts started happening in Ireland, and there was a particular security company, Sword Security in Galway, who were looking for bodies to work these festivals. I got in touch and said, I have good trained bodies. They were the second group licensed in the country when licensing came in, and they nearly bit my hand off. So we used to send a bus load for the first few years to all these concerts. We'd all work together as a team on the security side. I developed an interest in the safety side. I rebranded that team in the college to a safety team and not a security team, which really helped. And then I just got interested in the safety side. A girl who now works with us in Cuckoo was going out with a guy on the safety team with me. And she was involved she did occupational health and safety and worked for that security company. So she started getting me involved on the safety side, and we've come full circle now. Mags works with us full time. She's one of the best in the industry. I left I left the University of Limerick, came to Dublin. I studied business. I did a postgrad in event management and PR. I planned to go into PR because there was loads of women in PR. My class is full of women. And then I ended up working in media, and then this job came up in a college in Dublin. So it was an events and marketing manager. So it was marketing, which I studied and I love, and it was the event side. So I went for a friend of mine rang and said, you should go for that job. It was about 2.5 times the salary I was on. So I didn't think I'd get it. I went, I got it, and then I spent about 6 years in that Dublin college running the events there. Was always destined to work for myself. Don't really like taking orders from people unless I know them, they're good, I respect them. So in a lot of jobs I was working for people who didn't understand events, didn't respect what we did. So I was looking for an opportunity to set up for myself. Met a guy when I was working in the college called Martin. He was a supplier. Just one of those good guys you get on with. He knew his stuff, and we'd have a coffee and go, we'd work really well together, we should do something. I left the college, took up a job running a marketing agency just around 2012 when the Olympics was happening in London. Sword, that security company, were ringing asking would I work the Olympics. I was saying I've just started a new job running a marketing agency, I can't disappear. So I'd said no a couple of times, and then Martin rings one day and he goes, no pressure, but I'm leaving where I am. So if you do want to look at doing something together, let's do it. And I really enjoyed the job I was in at the time, but I walked in and I handed in my notice and I explained to my boss that it's an opportunity, I have to do this. I rang Sword, I accepted the job at the Olympics, rang Martin and said, right, let's do this. And started putting Cuckoo together while I was over working the Olympics so we could hit the ground running when I came back. And that was 2012. So that was Cuckoo. And again, I suppose now we've built a second brand now, Safe Events, which is just focusing on a lot of what we do with Cuckoo, which is planning and safety for events. So that's how I've ended up here, I think. There's a couple of things there. One, I always saw this happening from day one. I just thought it might take a bit longer. I didn't know quite how quickly the market here would actually move, and how, you know, the likes of the master's course coming online and people looking at safety for big crowds as a real area of study and specialization. When we started, we thought we would do 30% big event planning, safety, that kind of stuff, and 70% general event work. And when I say general event, I'm talking, you know, we could be doing a corporate ball here in the Aviva, and we could be dressing the room. We do all that kind of work with Cuckoo as well. but we specialised in the event safety and planning, and just quicker than we thought, that was becoming more and more of our work. So it's easily 70 to 80% of what we do now, and Cuckoo we always classed ourselves and marketed ourselves as specialists in that. We do lots of event stuff, but our specialism is in event safety and planning. And from the start, I knew there would come a point where it doesn't make sense for someone looking for event safety specialists to land on a website for people who do paint shows, foam shows, dress the ballroom and all that. They don't marry well together. So I knew there would come a time we'd split brands. I always knew the name of the brand. I had the website bought. I had things ready. And being honest, we've done it about 18 months faster than I thought we would. So it's more, we're doing more international work and stuff now. And bottom line, from a marketing perspective, I think if you go Googling event safety specialists and our Cuckoo website comes up, it doesn't match right for a lot of people. People who know the industry in Ireland know us, get what we do. They know we do both types of work, but for a brand new customer, it's not going to sit right. And I need it to sit right. Our website, we spent a lot of money and time building the Cuckoo website. It's award-winning, it does brilliant work for us, and will continue to, but Safe Events needs its own website, needs its own identity. For people who know us inside out, they know it's us in the same office. They know it's the same good people that have been doing their planning all along. It's just a different brand, but it's more about building towards the future and new clients being comfortable with us being specialists in safety. But you do foam parties, you do paint parties, which is still some of the bread and butter of that side of the business. So, I mean, I think it always needed to happen. And the more altruistic answer to that I give sometimes is, it deserves it, it needs it. It's that important that there should be specialist companies doing it. And I doubt we'll be the last. I think, you know, we have competitors, we see people coming through younger than us that will likely take this on and specialise in this area. So I think we just happen to be maybe a bit ahead of our time and a little bit ahead of the curve. But even the course today, the amount of people on it is what encourages us and makes us think this will kick off now. This will, over the years in the future, next 5 years, we will see more event safety specialist companies. I'll have to battle with them for work, but that's fine. I'd sooner see safety being focused on properly and have to fight harder for work, to be honest. Again, I think it's two things. It's a personal ambition thing and it's a timing thing. I mean, the Masters came online. I joke with Keith still. I first became aware of Keith in 1999 when I started college. He did his PhD thesis in 2000 on crowd dynamics. And he doesn't remember it, but I got in touch with him at the time. He sent me that thesis on, I can't remember how many CD-ROM discs back then. And this was, the maths in this was way beyond me, still is beyond me. But I was excited that someone was looking at this stuff. So I always wanted, I have a postgraduate qualification in events and PR, but I always wanted, if an opportunity came up, to study this. And I knew Keith was working towards that happening eventually. So when the Masters was mooted, I was in touch with him already anyway, because we've been on courses with him, but I said, look, I want to be on that as soon as that happens. Personally, I want to be as good at this as I can be. That's my thing. It's what I love. I like watching happy people at an event knowing they're safe. I don't want them thinking about their safety. I don't want them wondering are they safe. But to me, to look out in the crowd and see happy people knowing I've played a part in that, that's what gives me my kicks. So I'm keen to continue to study this and become better at it. From a business perspective, obviously it makes sense that we continue to upskill and learn, and that's something we carry through, as you said, for our entire team. Our business model lives and dies on our people, and I can only be at one gig at a time. Martin, my business partner, Mags, we can only be in, so we need people coming through. Even our part-time team are more qualified than an awful lot of people in the industry in Ireland. They mightn't have the level of experience. We're bringing them that too. So it's about building a team that has both. We're not stupid enough to think, go do a course, you're now an event safety officer. We marry it with experience, we marry it with the right environment, we do a lot of work with them, and it costs time, it costs money, but that's our business model. We want the strongest team. We tell people we have the strongest operational event team in the country, so we have to have it. If I'm putting my head on the block and saying we do have it, we have to have it. And we do. There are events our part-time team work on, I know nothing about. And that's the level of trust we have in them. There are 2 of our part-time team have cuckoo email addresses. You know, that's how much we trust some of the part-time team. Some of them work with other event companies, but they would tell you they prefer working with us. They do as much with us as they can, and we trust them to the point that they deal direct with clients, they have cuckoo email addresses, and they go out representing the brand and the standard of work we set. We don't always achieve it. We're not perfect. We don't say we're perfect, but it's about aiming for improvement all the time. And that's what we do. And one of the ways is courses, another is experience, and the other is just the right people with the right temperament. I mean, I could fill the Aviva with the people who want to work for us for free, but we're very picky. And when we find them, we know them when we find them. And then we do our best. You say we're good to our staff. We do our best to hold on to them. We don't always get that right either, and we drop the ball there. But it is about, they know the genuine effort we put into training them, looking after them, and giving them these experiences. And that's what has them stay with us, even when we drop the ball, you know. I mean, there's very few of the tools that we don't apply. It's horses for courses. We don't use all the tools I've learned on the Masters or on the short course on every event. Keith likes to say what it does is it gives you a vocabulary, and that's a good way of putting it. I'd love to come up with a better way of putting it, just to annoy him, but that is a good way of putting it. I trust my gut, I trust Martin's gut, I trust Mags's gut, but we need a framework to be able to show how we've made those decisions. For loads of reasons. To train the next guys and girls coming through, we have to be able to explain this stuff. I can't say, I just feel it, I just know crowds. I do, and I'll have that conversation with anyone. I don't want to have that conversation in a court with a judge. I want to be able to say, well, look at our last 20 events, here's our system, here are the tools we use, here's how we do what we do. Yes, something happened on this one. One thing when you work in events on the safety side you have to become comfortable with is accidents happen. I don't want to be the cause of them, and I don't want something we did or didn't do to have caused them. That's what we focus on. You put 20,000 people in a space, someone will fall over and break their leg. That's what I have insurance for. As long as it's genuine and I didn't contribute to it, I'm comfortable with it. But we put all the tools into practice. Sometimes don't document them as well as we should, but they're all there and we use them regularly. I've always said this, we find ourselves in an interesting situation where we're knocking on doors saying, you need to be looking at this, you need to be doing your event plans this way. You're talking to local authorities going, this is what you should be asking for. Oh, and by the way, we're the only ones currently doing it. And it's a weird dynamic. The challenge for us and the whole industry will continue to be that. We need to educate local authorities and statutory agencies about what they should be looking for. Not many industries work when they're kind of self-regulated, but no one else is regulating us. The girl just walked by that window can say she's an event safety officer. The people buying the services and licensing the events don't know what to look for and what to ask for. So running courses like this, being as open as we are on social media, being as receptive to approaches from people going, look, can you give me half an hour? Can you tell me how this stuff works? That's what it's all about. We need to continue to educate the market so they know what to ask for. I'm very comfortable with not always being the only people offering it. The way my business partner Martin always says, the way we look at it is, we want to think an event is safe enough for our mother, our sister, our daughter to go to. We won't run every event in this country or internationally, but if we can do anything to help make the level of general event safety better, we're keen to do it. And that's kind of, I think, where we're going. I need to pay bills, I'd like to have a nice house, but it's as much about enjoying what we do and helping the general level of safety and event professionalism in Ireland slowly raise. If I can retire in 30 years going, I had a positive impact in the thing I cared about, I'll be happy. And that's genuinely part of it. I spend too much time on Twitter because of that. I spend too much time doing marketing because of that. But it's what drives me. And I have the opportunity to do something I love. And it's an exciting time because people are starting to see the importance of it. People are starting to get excited by courses like this. So now is the good time to be in the middle of it, I think. And we're quite enjoying it. Whereas 5 years ago when we set out, people were going, you're specialising in what? You know, do people need that? Do events need to be that well planned? Yes, they do. And we love doing it. So I think that's why we're busy to a large degree.